time has come. Time for the first anniversary of Blue Rhapsody and the With Voices series. Let's take a look back and see what we've done so far. Most of you are now going to be wondering what's next. First, and most obvious, I'm going to be taking care of the rest of the Grey Garden with Voices. I have 8 episodes left, along with 2 bonus episodes, making that for a grand total of 22 episodes. Once I get past episode 15, which also marks the end of Act 2, I will commence with the voting time, which is going to be when you get to vote on which of these lovely episodes I will be giving the With Voices treatment to next. I believe each of these are going to be a great deal shorter than the Grey Garden, and once I get finished with that, I expect each of these 4 series to take roughly 3 months from start to finish. They should be that short. In the meantime, I'm looking to expand and to make Blue Rhapsody Productions bigger and better. I also got myself a capture card, but right now I'm hitting some hurdles. I need to get past a few obstacles before I can really start to use it and experiment and see just what I can really do besides Let's Plays and stuff. I am also looking to set up a website so that you'll be able to go in, see my content much more efficiently. YouTube is good, but I've also been running into a few issues with YouTube, and I don't want that to be the only place where you can see my videos. Also, I'm going to have to go into my Patreon account, give it a tune-up, maybe make some adjustments for the rewards and the milestone goals. I know I definitely need to change the intro video. It is very outdated since I am doing the Grey Garden with Voices, and I intend to complete it. Well, with that being said, let's move on to the Q&A section. Antonio Cruz writes, which episode of the Grey Garden with Voices did you have the most fun making? I liked making episode 2, mostly because I was surprised how well it turned out. Episode 2 was an experiment with sprite animation that was going to make or break the series. If I had not been able to do those sprite animations, I would have had to completely overhaul the way I did the Grey Garden with Voices. But thankfully I was able to push through, and the fact that I was able to do not 1 but 2 animations was very encouraging for me to continue the series. Mr. Game Guy Color writes, if you were in a situation where you had to repopulate the world from scratch with 1 or more of Deep Sea Prisoners characters, who would be your choice or choices? Note, you're not limited to just humans. Mixed hybrids are allowed. Well, honestly, I don't have a lot of information on all of Deep Sea Prisoners characters, so I'm kind of limited in my choices. First off, I take the main 6 from the Grey Garden and use them to repopulate one world with angels and demons. Then I use Yonika, Nataka, Emika, Tomoe, and maybe Kurotsuno for good measure, and use them to repopulate a more human world. Funny thing about repopulation, the King of Siam had it right. A bee can go from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, but a flower can't go from bee to bee to bee. Seb Prince asks, will you join the Revelation? Nah, I'd rather join Conquest. Oh wait, you said Revolution. Oh well, Team Nor for life, bitches! Silver Birch asks, what are some of your favorite games besides RPG Maker games? Generally, I like action-adventure games and RPGs. Those tend to be more of my favorites. I like your Mario, Sonics, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, all the classics. I also like the RPGs, your Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Bravely Default, Fire Emblem, that sort of stuff. I like Disgaea 2, but I've only been able to play the second one right now. That would be something I'd like to get into. Louis Bedelman asks, would you ever cover retro video games for Nintendo and such? A lot of that depends on a number of factors. See, console games such as Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft, they come from a console and they're played through a television. In order to cover one of the actual video games, first I'd have to find a way to get my video game to talk to the computer. And if I wanted to do anything more than a Let's Play, such as like give it the with voices treatment, I'd have to see if I can get the sprites, the music, the sound effects, stuff like that if I wanted to do anything extra. Shannon Kelly has a 3-parter right here. First off, do you have a dream game to add voices to? My dream game would be something that I end up creating myself. For instance, if I could take the Grey Garden and retool it into an actual RPG, one with more characters, greater levels, challenging fights, sub-quests, interesting abilities, stuff like that, I could make that into something glorious. Especially, even if I used the same cast and stuff, it would feel like a very different sort of game than the one we have now. I'd also love to make a Mega Man game, or maybe a Sonic RPG, though if I had to go with something already existing, I'd like to try my hand at Final Fantasy IV The After Years, or maybe one of the Mario and Luigi games, maybe even that Thousand Year Door one if I'm feeling adventurous. Part 2. Do you have a goal in mind for your collection or projects? Is there something in particular that you're looking to accomplish or somewhere to get? Well, like most people, I'd like to gain fame, acquire fans, and earn some money to thrive on. I'd like to expand Blue Rhapsody into something much more grand and maybe be able to do voices for some actual video games. If I can build Blue Rhapsody up to the point where I'm making my own games and my own animations, I'd say I'd have made it at that point. And part 3, what has been your favorite character to voice within your project so far? Well, I kinda like doing King Mogeko. I also like doing Defect Mogeko. They're both fun because they're two sides of the same fucked up coin. One's a cute and marketable slime ball, and the other's the fucking Batman. Fun fact, originally when I was seeing Mogeko Castle, I was gonna have Defect Mogeko kind of, I don't know, be more of a bored kind of Kermit voice, kind of indifferent, like, yeah, whatever, oh, I'll help you out of the castle, I guess, whatever. And then I saw him do that whole fight with King Mogeko on, floor 6. That's when I realized his story and who he was. That's when I decided to make him the fucking Batman! Definitely the Christopher Nolan Batman. Epic Bunny 201 asks, out of all the games Deep Sea Prisoner has made, or the ones that you're familiar with, is there one that you favorite the most? For me, it's kind of a toss-up between Mogeko Castle and the Grey Garden. Mogeko Castle was kind of a first for me, in a lot of ways. It's also very fascinating, the nature of the Mogekos, Yonaka's story, you know, that's how I met Kurotsuno as a crossover character. I looked into her series, realized she had her own story, got fascinated with that, so I like Mogeko Castle. I also like the Grey Garden because it kind of has that interesting angel and demon lore that's going on, and it kind of bleeds into the other series and into his other works. There's also the rather interesting idea that each world has its own god and its own devil. You only see 3 of the devils in the Grey Garden story, but as of now, there are 6 gods and 6 devils that Deep Sea Prisoner has covered. And he is making more characters as we speak. He's got a lot going on, that man. Or woman. And finally, John LaChance asks, what gave you the idea to create the With Voices series? Well, it kinda went something like this. Hey, check out this Mogeko Castle game! Okay, sure, why not? And the rest is history from there. Alright everyone, I think that's about all the time I have for now. I want to thank you again for all your likes and subscribes and for watching all of my videos and for a good year for Blue Rhapsody and the With Voices series. I am looking forward to having many more with you guys, and hopefully I'll be able to have a lot more on the table by the time the next year runs around. Until then, teach out!